Hey, what's up with you guys? I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but I've been sick. Still am a little bit, but I have some things to say anyway, and I don't want anybody to go away from the channel. You need to come over to the channel and watch all the videos because it's going to help save your soul and your family's soul and your friends' souls and everybody's souls. This video, once I upload it, it's going to be pretty cool, you guys. We're going to talk about why America, well, as Prince Rogers Nelson was and is the name been broken down, as I explain here on the channel, it's not just a breakdown of him, it's a breakdown of the United States of America as well. And that's what I'm going to be explaining, is because this really does affect all of us. I know people come expecting just to hear maybe Prince stuff, but it's not that way, because as I always say, this information is from another world. I work really hard to put it together for you, and I hope and pray that you guys can feel the truth. I try to find ways to make it make sense to you. So anyway, it's good to be back. Today's video will go between me talking and then me showing some things. So don't ever think I'm not coming back. Don't ever think I'm quitting, because that won't be the case. I'm just trying to get myself together, and I've been fairly ill. So, yeah, I'll see you guys real soon. You ever wonder why it's Uncle Sam, not Uncle Mike or Uncle Todd or Uncle Joe? Why does he want you so bad? Why does he want you? Yosemite Sam? The son of Sam in 1977, serial killer. Would it be a surprise then to find out that within the Hebrew alphabet that the Samech and the Mem, the two letters together, Samech Mem, are a name, it is a name of the angel of death, or what Christians would refer to as Satan or the devil, but it's actually the name of an angel of death. So Samech Mem. Now what I want you to focus on, here we have the name Sam. We also have the Ech, which can be E-C-K or E-C-H. The spelling changes from Hebrew to English. But what we're focused on right now is the name Sam. When we look at the S and the M, as in English language, S and M, then what do we have? That's right, S and M. S and M spells Sam within itself. Prince had a song called S&M Groove. I think it's on the Chocolate Factory or the Chocolate Invasion. Of course, you're familiar maybe with the raunchy lyrics of Rihanna's S&M song. It is because it is the Samech Mem. It is evil and likes to experience as much pain in the world as possible. It's really important to know that the Mem itself, the 13th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, is a very important letter that you can see here refers to Mashiach, as well as it says here the closed mem represents the 9 months when the womb is closed. The open mem represents the period of childbirth when the womb is open or closed. Sorry, I can't see so well. So I don't want you mistaking the Samech and the Mem when we're talking about them. And this is really important because the Samech Mem is an imitator of the actual Mem. See how much they resemble each other, but with differences. To English speakers, even myself, you have to really look to see where the differences are. So if you think about the Sam, we'll just call him Sam, the Satan Sam. He's an imitator of the Mem, which represents the Mashiach, as well as the womb and many other things, mikvah, and some things within the Hebrew language that I don't want to get too far into because I don't know that much about. I just know a little bit, but I'm here to teach what I know. Mem itself has two forms. That's what we were talking about, the open and the closed form. And what's interesting is it's M and M. To me, it's M and M. M is the 13th letter in the English alphabet, and also can be representative of a 3, as I'm always referring to M&M killers playing Mickey Mouse games. We talked about that in one of the Monarch video slides. So the Samach Mem is an imitator of the greater Mem. You get what I'm saying? So, what does the Samach Mem, why does he want you? Because he wants to trick you into believing that his story, which is the New Testament version of the Bible, is the truth. That he is the helper of Hashem, that he is God's only son, Christ. That's what he wants you to believe. It's more than just war. Look closely at this picture if you would, and notice that I have double D written underneath it. What is the old joke about, when men talk about looking at women and they put their hands out? Oh, the Grand Tetons, the double D. Doesn't that look like a double D to you? On Ed, and Eddie, isn't one of the names double D? The reason I say such random things, you guys, is to show you what a breakdown of the language through how big and how deep the breakdown goes. It goes all the way from taking Hashem's original language that he created with, breaking it down into an occult language of English that's barely recognizable, that casts spells because of the way that the language has been changed. So look at the Samach Mem and look at the Mem and see how much they look alike. Okay, that's what I mean by imitator, poser, hater. You know what I'm saying. Don't drink the haterade. Teach the world that S&M is groovy, that hurting and inflicting pain or receiving pain is normal. Use the name as a serial killer, why not? In fact, sucker the whole US of A into believing that Uncle Sam needs you to support his war machine. Why? Because he can't fight for himself. Because he's weak and low, and he needs to feed off of your energy and our energy to have any existence at all. Speaking of imitators, let's look at the word Christmas. It's the word we've been taught, Christ, and Mass. Why do people have Mass on Sunday? Why do they go to midnight Mass? Mass, why the word Mass? Because it's the opposite of Sam. That's right. Now, why does he call himself God's only son? Christ, God's only son, Christ, Sam, the son of God, the imitator. Okay, they want you believing in this man, Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him. He's an imitator, you guys, imitator. This breakdown that I'm trying to explain to you, it isn't just a breakdown of Prince Rogers Nelson and his name and his identity. It's the breakdown of our very lineage and our DNA by way of breaking down our creator and thereby our belief in ourselves. Like, how can you believe in a creator if you don't believe in yourself? So, pushing myself daily to come here, believing in myself, to tell you guys the truth so that you can believe in yourself, so that we can all put our belief in the creator and know that what I'm saying is true, that this is the way that he is introducing himself to the world. I'm going to introduce you to the MEROVIGIANS again. I've spoke about them before, being the 13th and most powerful Illuminati bloodline. I'm not going to get into all of the gematria here, but what I want you to please look at is the word occult. If you were to replace the C with a K, you could clearly see the word cult. See, in English spelling, and we've been, well, let's look. Ocular, that's your eye, okay? You have the oracle, which is the seer in the Matrix movies. You have the, isn't that what that virtual reality thing is called? The Oculus. It has to do with seeing. So in gematria and in the occult, then you spell it with two C's instead of a K. Well, they'll just accept it because it doesn't look like cult that way. Same with Cain, the word Cain, as in Cain and Abel in the Bible. In Hebrew, it would be spelled with a K and pronounced slightly different, but in English, they change it. The C and the K are interchangeable, as in Calvin Klein, okay? Everything that has been done to the Hebrew language is broken down so that English is actually a dark magic occult language. It just is. And here, for those that are inclined, it basically, the gematria breaks down to 3121, which is just symbolism for the cult. Again, it is the 13th bloodline, which is why we have 13 stripes on our flag, red and blue, 50 stars. 50 and 13 equals 63. What do we know? We know that 63 is equivalent to GE, which is GE or GE, which is the Georges that I explained before. The Blue Bloods, Soros, SOS. Please look if you're not. If you take the word Merovigian and then you write it backwards as an upside down mirror writing that I'm always referring to, I need you to see how in the middle it's NIV, as in NIV, the New International Version Testament. There are so many things going on within this word. I don't have time to explain them all, but what you will notice is at the beginning of the word is an MN, which is Minnesota's state code. And of course, if you line it up that way, both sides. Now, what I did is I took the word and I wrote it vertically up and down. See, MEROVIGIAN. And then I started at the bottom of the screen, MEROVIGIAN. And I lined it up beside itself. You with me? So I found some interesting things when I did that, because the word Merovigian itself, I don't even know if I'm saying it properly. It has so many consonants and vowels in it. It's a really interesting word, and it makes a lot of other words. Anyway, when you line it up this way, mirror writing, in the middle of the word, I think you might find this as interesting as I did. Merovigian. So here it's OV19. I don't know. What does that look like to you? If the O was a C and then it was a 19 or an ID, I find it really interesting that it's right smack in the middle of the word myself. I'm trying to watch what I'm saying because one of my videos got removed. I'm not giving health information at all. Anyway, so do with that what you will, okay? Also, at the beginning of the word, MER, you might not have fun looking at the letters, but I have to do it this way. MER, if you look and remember that the mem is the 13th letter in both the Hebrew alphabet as well as the English alphabet. The E is equal to a 3 backwards, so you have 3, 3, and the R is 1, 2. So you also, the MER is part of what makes up America, and it is again 3121. So there's a lot of codes in there, you guys. Like I said, I do this on my computer and then it doesn't carry over quite as well to my phone when I make these recordings, so my bad. But hopefully you'll get the gist of what I'm saying. Within the name Merovigian, you guys, at the end, there's a GIAN. We're talking about the giant Goliath of David and Goliath. It is what I say. It's Gaia for the Gaia channel. It's GAI. You guys, it's why in the file that Prince's assistant was known to be named Meron. They take the first part of they just break up the word into lots of different names and then they use them because, again, as I've tried to explain, it's all code. Only this time they're not using George, it's within the name. So there's a lot of stuff to explain in there, you guys, but I just wanted to touch on this being in the middle, especially because there is people to blame for this breakdown. And again, get it through your head. It's not just a breakdown of Prince Rogers Nelson and the lie of Paisley Park. It is a lie upon the United States of America, and I'm going to show you why. I need you to look at the Samach again. It's ECH, or it can be pronounced ECK. Again, with the CK, it's just who's pronouncing it. So Samach or Ek, ECK. It has to do with, the Amalekites, you guys. It's all biblical. These are the same lineages, the same bloodlines of people. It's just the storyline is hidden in a different place. And because of my clinical death situation, life after, I was told these things and then shown them. And I'm trying to bring them to you. And I sure do hope you listen, because the ek, whether it be ECH or ECK, ECK, if you turn the E on its side, it becomes an M, like I explained. K as in MK Ultra, or 3K as in KKK. So EAK is actually code for the KKK, the cult. Interesting, this screenshot above that you see is a screenshot of the video Sweet Baby, where Maite is in front of a broken down bookstore, adult bookstore sign. But you can see that the genius would code it so that the K, the U, and the L and the T lined up. As well, you could line up SLUT. I mean, it's just the way that the writing is, the way I've been shown to, been able to see it. It is what I say it is. Now, the X Center, you guys, here on the bottom is a picture of the X Center, which I explained before in Paisley Park prison video, is across the street from Paisley Park. And they pass it off as a spiritual center founded and guided by Paul Twitchell and someone else. Notice that when you look at the, the above, the aerial, you have Paisley Park and Lake Anfield there. This image to me has always looked like a turtle, shell. There's the head at the top, and then Lake Anfield. Now over here is the X Center, Eckankar. It's in two pieces, and it always reminded me of what I call a space monkey, because when you look at the old drawings of the 1999 albums and inserts, there's a little space monkey on a UFO type airplane, and that's what the X Center reminds me of, because the genius was always trying to share things like that with us. Ek. Unfortunately, I think sometimes people might shy away from my videos because I talk about things that they're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. But I try to make it easy to listen to. I try to make it real simple. I have to, because it's the only way I can grasp it. So it's the only way that I can explain it. I don't have these big, long, educational speeches planned, you guys, because when you're interpreting messages and visions from one world to this world, and using a certain skill set to decipher codes and everything, it's a pretty big deal. So I present it to you in the very best way that I can. Hopefully it's making sense. I'm going to get back to it, because just as all the lyrics and all the things that the Prince Rogers Nelson showed us, people didn't understand them at the time, but they'll understand them a little bit after the time. So even if my words come to be understood after a certain time, well, then so be it. I have to do these videos, and I have to try to explain this, because my inner burning desire is to try to save souls. And it's not that I'm coming here, oh my gosh, against Christianity or against Islamic people or against Asian people or against anybody. I flippin' love people, everybody. It's that when I stood in the life after life, you guys, this breakdown plan was explained to me, and it's like the whole entire nation is being duped, because I tried to explain before, it has something to do with like an exchange of power between the times of like World War I, World War II, and possible World War III. I don't know. But when they had those wars, there was something to do with the creator's power, AI information, UFO type stuff, inner earth stuff that I'm going to get to in a minute, because we're going to talk about MAUI and creation a little bit, and what it has to do with the mathematical code for pi, and why they say pi equals 314, why any of that, you guys. And if you have to think about it, if I don't know, if you believe you live in a world where politicians and righteous Christian leaders are leading you in the right direction, well, by golly, you should keep following them. But if you're still looking for truth, and you're still looking for the truth of the creator, and you're divine connection to him and that you have an ability to speak right to him. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like I said before, and I'm not going to shy away from this stuff has never been told before. I come here with no makeup, sick, willing to tell you this stuff because I have a soul purpose and I'm going to fulfill it no matter what, no matter how long it takes. But I don't want it to take real long. I want you to start believing in your creator and that it is what I say it is. So let's get back to the video. I want to teach you a word that might be new to you. It's halacha. In Hebrew, it means the way. You know how the Christian Bible teaches that Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the light? The halacha is the totality of all the laws and ordinances that have evolved since biblical times. They regulate the Judaism, the religious observances and daily life and conduct of the Jewish people. And it's very, very important. And I will tell you why. Because the halacha has that same sound in it. Okay, this is the way I put it together. And it means the way. This is the way. The Eckankar Center also teaches that they are the way, that the soul astral travels, and that you become a co-creator with God. That's what they teach. Now, as we look at the word Eckankar, let's look for a moment. Here it is in capitals as well as lowercase. You can see in lowercase writing how the E and the A, the second A, become 666 because it's an upside down Hebrew gematria writing. Okay, in the big word, you can see why we were the song Shaka Khan. This is what he was telling us. You take these words, and it's a combination of these words. Also, here at the end, there's cat, K-A-T. You see, cat. We need you to rap. Shaka Khan, cancer, canker. It's all there, you guys, and see how close canker, C-K, you guys, E-G-G, is it ek or is it egg? You know what I'm saying? The 666, the egg. It all is a matter of spelling, the occult language. He left these messages for us to ponder and contemplate and try to draw nearer to greatness, whether it be through someone we knew as Prince Rogers Nelson or to Hashem, the very creator, Adonai Elohim, and met the truth. Think about it, the truth. Eckankar's symbol, its very symbol, is a backwards 3 and a K, 3K, meaning KKK, K, MK Ultra. I wrote Three Kings East because it reminded me of the song, We Three Kings of Orient are traveling something, we traverse so far, through mountain and mountain. It's a Christmas song, and it's the 3K, the KKK. Remember the it tells you the three wise kings from the East? East meets West. That's where we are now. Ek. Rekka Stowe. You with me, you guys? The clues were there. It's in the lyrics. It's in the writing. By golly, it's even in the hand, because does that look like a normal hand and digit to you? Or does that look like you're being shown something to see in the future, which is now? Rekka Stowe. Not just for Sam Cooke albums. Briefly, Eckankar, you guys, they have this patented, okay? Patented form of astral travel devised by Paul Twitchell, beginning in 1908. And it's a series of he explains that in a series of out-of-body experiences that he made contact with superior beings in the astral plane called the Ek Masters. Kind of sounds like an acid trip or a DMT trip if you've ever, not that I've ever done it, but I've researched. I've done acid, but never DMT. And people that do DMT, they do it specifically for these astral travel, meeting with superior being techniques. But instead of saying, hey, we're meeting with Hashem, he said superior beings. It's they're kind of close, you know what I'm saying? But they're teaching it through an occult way. And if you go watch The Prison of Paisley Park, I get more into detail. Just wanted to touch on it again since we're here again. The X Center, you guys, was built 2 years, within 2 years of Paisley Park. And there are some lawsuits out there accusing them of dark magic and occult practices. I explained them on the other video. 3K, KKK. When I began this video, I taught you the word halacha with this set of rules. And now I want to get back to the mem from the beginning of the video for a minute, because in the Sefer Yetzirah, which is a Hebrew book that is taught nowhere in Christianity, that I can't explain right now, the letter mem is king over water, formed earth in the universe, cold in the air, and belly in the soul. As an abbreviation, it stands for meter in the Israeli, I can't speak because I can't breathe. In the Israeli army, it can also stand. Oh man, what I wanted to get to, you guys, skip all that. In Hebrew religious texts, it can also stand for the name of God, Makom, the place. Okay, so what I wanted to bring together here, not so eloquently, was that the set of rules, the halacha, the way, okay. You guys, you don't have to be scared of Judaism when I say it. I'm not trying to like force something on you. It's something that I found myself looking into to find Hashem, to find God, to find the root. You know what I mean? I wanted to, like, where did it all start? Because it didn't start in the New Testament. So you go back to the Old, and then it leads to Hebrew. And so then that's, again, why I ended up here. And it is the truth. So along with the life after life, this is where we ended up. And what I wanted to say about that is I'm not trying to force anything down anybody's throat or tell anybody to go convert, because like every other religion, there are dirty, dirty things that happen within the religion itself and then are swept under the rug. That's what I'm here for, to try to break through all those lies, and all the other real legions and the plans. So if the original Hebrew way is halacha, and in the Sefer Yetzirah, the mem is the makom, the place, then that leads us to Haleakala, the volcano in Maui. Okay, this will all come together. You have to trust me. I'm doing it as much for myself as I am for you, to try to understand it. So you can see at Haleakala, it's a dormant volcano / biosphere that takes up a large portion, I think 13,083 something acres, maybe more, maybe less. And you can see, I actually went there when I was in Maui, but we're not there yet. It has the same EAK in it, okay, as the place. Now, look at the map, the Haleakala National Park map. It looks like the bust of a man, does it not? You see where I'm going with that? You see how in the green map of Maui, it looks like the bust in the head of a man. You see how Prince Rogers Nelson was always showing himself photographed as the bust in the head of a man, as in the shadow, as in the performance here with the guitar. When I started hearing all these things in the spring of 2020 and the creator began talking to me, he began relating to me that he and the creation of everything had to do with something about Maui, which is in mirror writing, I am. Okay, so Maui is I am, and it has something to do with the Haleakala volcano. When I was there, you guys, in August of 2019, I spent 2 weeks there in Maui. I stayed at Wailea Beach. I took both of these videos, or pictures, pardon me, on the volcano itself. We're told it's a dormant volcano, and what's really relevant to know, you guys, is that it became a national, like, preserved biosphere in 1916. Now, the 19 and the 16 are very relevant, because if you think about what I showed you back here in the middle of the word MEROVIGIAN and how it looks similar to an OVIG and or an OVID19. Well, 1916 in mirror writing, if you look at the IG as a 19 and the other one is a 16, the 1916 becomes very important. Maui's area code 808, okay, is 2 infinity loops, and it equals 1/6. In the monologue, The War, by Prince, it says, we are running out of the essentials of life here on earth. Will you go? Will you go? Do you love your country? If your country no longer exists here on this earth, but exists under this earth, will you go? Underneath this metropolis, there's food to eat, clean air. It's a paradise. One condition: microchip in your neck. Would you stay above the metropolis, the microchip city? Would you stay above and await your fate? Do you trust God? Would you stay on top of the trip and await your fate? As I said, Haleakala was established in August 1st, 1916, and long before it was designated, of course, the government comes along and snatches up everything in the name of calling it a national park. They talk about the land and how it supported Native Hawaiians, etc. You guys, what they've done is they've taken the volcano and built it to be like a biosphere underneath. So I had this inclination to believe that perhaps that's what was being chanted about in the war, was the biosphere. There's many others across all the countries, I'm sure, because it's where they think they're going to hide. The word Haleakala actually means house of the sun. Now, think of the song, I don't know who sings it right now, The House of the Rising Sun, and being in chains and going back down. There's a lot of legends surrounding Maui, you guys, and there's a lot of spiritual power out there. It's well known. They sell it at all the rehabs. It's like they're bottling God, bottling Hashem, and saying, here, come here to Maui and explore where creation was created. And then here it goes on to talk about the biosphere and when it was created, etc. I'll put the link in the comment sections. It's a really big deal, you guys, because, you know, like I said, I noticed a lot of things when I was out in Maui, a lot of very unusual things. One of those unusual things was, I mentioned DMT before, earlier, and when I was out in Maui, I saw this, what they call silver sword, because it says be sure to look for the nene, the Hawaiian goose, and the silver sword. This is a picture I took on the volcano because these silver swords, once near extinction, it says, due to human vandalism and browsing by goats and cattle, began to recover when it was provided strict protection. You guys, that's BS. When I was there, I took this picture. This is my picture. These plants can take up to 50 years to flower. And when I was out there in 2019, this particular plant was in full bloom. Once they're plucked and, you know, taken, then they look at like these little dried bones here in the ground. So this plant was in full bloom. It provides DMT. It is protected out there for anybody getting any ideas, but they hide the information because I believe through the mind funkery of MK Ultra that psychedelics and acid and DMT, along with the pineal gland in the pineapple state, have everything to do with pi, which is upside down 1/6 and 119, which is why I said that the fact that Haleakala or Halaka, however you say that, became a biosphere in 1916 is very relevant. Pi equals 314. EMC squared. What does it all mean? Look at the word pi, P-I. Equals 314. If you read it backwards, the 4 becomes a P, the 1 becomes an I, and the 3 becomes an E. So pi equals 314 equals pi. Pi equals pi. 1/6 equals 19. 19 equals 16. Or ID 19 at the end of Ovid. I don't know. What do you say? I'll be back with the second part to this video.